We will be talking. We will be talking all things Clemson football. It's not a fireside chat tonight. It is a coral reef side chat. Just because, you know what? Let's have a relaxing evening. How about that? How about that? Let's have a relaxing evening talking about the Clemson football Tigers. And anything else you want to talk about. Again, this is a easygoing fireside chat. I'll go through topics. I'm eating some homemade ice cream. Gonna have some good time. As you could probably guess, yes, I'm home alone. I'm home alone. I got nothing else to do. I cut the grass this morning. By the time lunch came around, I was sweating, killing myself. Let me know where you are if you're watching. Already got a few people in. Kevron says, good evening. What do you think about the new scoreboard at Death Valley? Well, I think it's a long time coming, Kevron, to be honest with you. I mean, why not? It seems like Clemson has had this really small scoreboard for way too long. You know, I think they need, I think that they're revamping some other things as well. Clemson definitely needs to keep up. I don't know if that was my dog. I don't know what she was doing, but Clemson definitely needs to keep up with having the best stadium. I mean, we have a DJ. They have a DJ, but I wouldn't necessarily say they have the best speakers. I wouldn't necessarily say they have the best surround sound in the stadium. If you're going to have a live DJ, to be honest with you, I think you need to have a really good surround sound stereo system. The board, the scoreboard, the big giant jumbo thing they're going to put that's going to go from sideline to sideline, long overdue. I mean, I think Arkansas has had one that big for years. So definitely need to. Man, when you're home alone, you always hear these noises, right? Like you think somebody's here, right? I feel like that Clemson in getting that giant scoreboard, you know, it's just one. It's just keeping up with what everybody else is doing. You know, I know that they talked about adding more seats as well. So, but welcome in, Kevron. Where was everybody when? I really feel like there has to be some sort of algorithm or something. Where was everybody when I was doing my Formula One videos, huh? I did 2 Formula One videos where I was racing and playing a video game. Nobody showed up. I had like one person watching. I do one Clemson video live, and I guarantee you it's got to be something with YouTube or Facebook where you're like, if you type in Clemson, because everybody comes to my channel for Clemson, then all of a sudden everybody sees it. Brady Evans, Darlene Howard says, Peter Woods all in. Yeah, big pickup for the Clemson Tigers yesterday, picking up Peter Woods. I mean, just going to be a dominant guy. Looks dominant already. We watched video of him. Didn't even realize it was freshman video. How awesome was that? The video that we have up was from him being a freshman. I mean, I'm going to go back. Maybe we can do that tonight where we watch his junior highlights because, man, he is definitely amazing. To be honest with you, when you look at the recruiting as a whole, though, it's been a great season so far. Been a great summer for Clemson. You got to think it's probably going to slow down now. They have 17. They really want a wide receiver. I know that. They really want a running back. I know that. Looking for maybe a cornerback and a safety. But they have 17. When I counted up everything, 17 was basically replacing the guys that were leaving either by graduation or eligibility or NFL. David Smith says, great day to be a Tiger, Peter. Yeah, I think it's, obviously, anytime you land a defensive line commit, Clemson has done really well with that. Jeff gets in, says, are you excited as me about this ACC Pac-12 loose partnership? Really excited to see Clemson go to Palo Alto for a game, and that championship game in Las Vegas sounds so great. Getting rid of LSU for a trip to Tucson, long overdue. I'm assuming you're joking. I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think that it's bad to have a football game in Las Vegas. I don't think it's bad to have a football game in Las Vegas. Where I think it's bad is that you've got, half of your schools are on the Atlantic coast and your championship game is going to be in Las Vegas. That doesn't make sense to me. There has to be some sort of give and take there. A championship game in Las Vegas that would be a great city to have a championship game, but not necessarily for all your teams that are in the Atlantic coast. I guess I wouldn't necessarily say a game against Stanford wouldn't be. Maybe a few years ago it would have been nice. I think it's fireworks or maybe thunderstorm going off in my neighborhood. Something's happening. Let's just take a look at around Clemson. Yeah, definitely that was thunder. 4-star 2024 cornerback has Clemson in top schools. Caleb Beasley, Nashville cornerback Caleb Beasley released top schools with Clemson on Saturday. Beasley added a Clemson offer last month, released a top schools list with Clemson in it on Saturday. Rated as a top 150 prospect, number 2 player in per ESPN. How about Tennessee? Clemson in the group with Penn State, Michigan, Georgia, Florida, Auburn, Oklahoma. Caleb Beasley. I'm not going to do any 2024 videos just yet. Speaking of Vegas, Vegas odds on Clemson football winning the ACC title. Vegas odds on Clemson football winning the ACC title. Clemson is still the top dog in the ACC according to Vegas. Bet Online released their ACC title odds. And had Clemson on top with 10 to 13 odds, followed by Miami 5-1, North Carolina State 7-1, and Pittsburgh 10-1. I don't really understand the odds. I don't bet that much, but other teams' odds further down the list: Wake Forest 18-1, Florida State 20-1, North Carolina 25-1, Virginia 25-1, Boston College 40-1, Louisville 50-1, Virginia Tech 66-1. Georgia Tech 125-1, Syracuse 150-1, and Duke 500-1. Jeff says, "Yes, I'm joking. I figured you would be joking." Bill gets in and says, "How's that supper? I'm enjoying my second Buc-ee's barbecue sandwich of the day. Brought one home with me." Were you in North Myrtle Beach like I was? This is homemade chocolate ice cream. We made some homemade chocolate ice cream with some friends on 4th of July. This is the last remnants of that. Beforehand, though, I went to Culver's, got me a North Atlantic cod fillet sandwich, which I was talking to a friend on the way home. What about a South Atlantic cod fillet sandwich? Why does it have to be North? I mean, we're in South Carolina. Why does it have to be North? Why can't it be South Atlantic cod fillet sandwich? Huh? So basically, Duke and Syracuse have no chance of winning the ACC. Duke, Syracuse, Georgia Tech. Could this be the year that Dino Babers and Jeff Collins are out of here? Gone? See you later? Could this be that year? I mean, Clemson is, as you saw on my Twitter page, dominating Georgia right now, specifically the city and the suburbs around Atlanta. 2 players from Fulton County, 2 players from Alpharetta, dominating. Brady Evans, Darlene Howard says, I think Clemson takes 23 commits in this class. Could be. They're at 17. 18 with a running back, 19 with a wide receiver, 20 with a safety, 21 with another cornerback, 22 with another defensive end, 23 with another offensive lineman. I could see 23, but to be honest with you, you're getting to the point where I mean, if you load up too many offensive linemen, then somebody got to leave. Somebody got to get out of here. Hemi the Large of Orange. Football chat, but you have an aquarium in the background. Well, Hemi, as you know, I can't play highlights or I'll get kicked off of YouTube. I had previously done a fireside chat, which made more sense because everybody does fireside chats. But I thought I didn't want to do what everybody else does. I want to do something different. And fire in the summertime, kind of different. Says, bro, that background is Aquanaut's holiday in real life. I don't know Aquanauts, but I know one thing. Whoever owns this aquarium puts a lot of time and effort into it. You don't get an aquarium looking like that with that many colors, that many corals, that many fish by accident. Not possible. Bill says, yes, 7 days in North Myrtle Beach was wonderful, but it's good to be home where the Blue Ridge yawns its greatness. Now, I'd go back to St. John, Bill. We got to get back there. You can say the Blue Ridge yawns its greatness all you want, but I would move to St. John if it wasn't so expensive. You know that. Maybe we should go in together and get us a $1 million house in St. John. Where's we have any YouTubers? Hemi was our only YouTuber. Everybody from Facebook right now. Joshua says, will Clemson win 12 or more games in football? 12? Well, let's take a look. Let me look at their schedule again just to be safe. Okay, so at Georgia Tech, win. Furman, win. Louisiana Tech. I mean, I don't think they have that Austin guy anymore, but let's say a win. Wake Forest, win. NC State, that's the game you want to circle right there. That's the game you want to circle. I think they win that one. Boston College, win. Florida State, win. Syracuse, win. Notre Dame will be a hard one. Where am I at right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 12 wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, that's the regular season. So what you're saying is, can Clemson win the regular season or lose one and win a postseason game, at least? And Walt Deptula and I had discussed this on the radio. I don't know how much better. The question is, how much better does the offense have to be to win 12 games? I mean, they stunk and won 10. I feel like, let's be honest, they almost lost Boston College. They played Georgia Tech close. Syracuse close. The Georgia Tech game 14-8. Stupid score. Syracuse 17-14. And I think they missed field goals there. The point being, Clemson cannot continue to be as bad on offense. Clemson cannot continue to be as bad on offense. I mean, you can't. I mean, after last season, you really can't say there's any guarantees at all. You really can't say that at all. I think they're too good of a team overall to lose any of the first 4 games. The NC State game will be a revenge game, and I think that they can win that game. After that, Louisville is going to want some revenge, but can they? Notre Dame at Notre Dame is going to be difficult, but I don't know much about Notre Dame yet. Really haven't looked at them. Miami is, maybe they're not there yet, but they've got a lot of excitement down there. In South Carolina, I don't think, it all depends on Rattler, what he looks like, how much of a threat they'll be. It's hard to say, man. Again, how much does the offense have to improve? If they were 100th overall last year and won 10 games and lost to NC State in double overtime, lost to Pittsburgh on some, they could have beaten Pittsburgh, they could have beaten NC State. They could have beaten Georgia. I mean, they were in every single game. Dabo Swinney likes to say they were a gnat hair away from being undefeated. A gnat hair away. How much does the offense have to improve? That's a hard one. Do they need to be top 25? I think overall they need to be top 25. Yes. Yes, they do. Can they run the table in the regular season and not be a top 25 offense? Mark Childress says, rude to eat ice cream if you didn't bring enough for all of us, man. That is true. I'm sorry. I'm done with it now. I'm done with it. Tiggs is here. Welcome in, Tiggs. This brings up the DJ Cade battle. Who wins QB1? I mean, let's be honest with ourselves here. DJ already beat Georgia Tech. Do you think he's going to have a problem beating Georgia Tech again? The question becomes, you don't want Clemson to beat Georgia Tech, a team that their coach should be is close to getting fired. You don't want them to beat them by 14-8 again. So if that's the case, if you want to beat them better, then who is putting up points better? I think it's a situation where you have DJ out there, and if they get up by 3 touchdowns, then you put Cade in there and see how many he can do. See how much momentum, see how much better he does. And you start to build your case against DJ. Or, I mean, you're really not building a case. You're kind of just backseat, front seating them to see who wins. Competition is what's going to matter. Now, Furman, I don't think either quarterback would really have a problem. DJ's already beat Georgia Tech. He's got to be better than last year. If he continues to be as bad as he was last year, okay, so you put Cade in at halftime or maybe in the fourth quarter, and you see how much better he does in the fourth quarter against Georgia Tech. You put Cade in at halftime against Furman, and you see, who does better. Does DJ come out and struggle against Furman, struggle to seem that he's on page? And then maybe at halftime, okay, now you have 2 games. Now you have 2 games of comparison. And then Wake Forest, I mean, DJ has already beaten Wake Forest. Let's be honest with Wake Forest there. Their offensive line is so much smaller than Clemson's defensive line. Clemson does not need an offense to beat Wake Forest. We've seen that. Clemson does not really need a powerful offense to beat Wake Forest. As much as everybody wants to talk about Wake Forest's offense, Clemson's defense has got their number. NC State is the one. It's kind of like you need to have your decision made within those first 4 games. By October, your NC State game, you really don't want that one up for grabs anymore. I mean, best case scenario, I would like to see if I would like by October to know that DJ is the starter or Cade is the starter. To me, it's October. That's what I see. Halo. Cade be starting by 3rd game. DJ will be in the transfer portal by 5th game. I don't think that's the best case scenario. What's up, Morgan? Hey, Clemson Carson. I'm doing all these streams today. I did 2 YouTube streams with Formula One racing. Nobody seemed to like that. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to go back to what I know what people like for me to do, and that is talk about Clemson. Cade. Should I call you Brady, Evans, or Darlene, or Howard? Which name? Which name should I call you? Brings, not Bings. That's all right. We knew what you meant. I hope they don't trash the ACC, but try to get a few more schools if they can get a better deal from ESPN for more TV money than other schools will join to get it to 20. I think the fact of the matter is they've got to do something. They cannot sit around and be they cannot sit around and be a playoff caliber team with top 10 recruiting, and neither can Miami, neither can Florida State, neither can Louisville or the Tar Heels or anybody else who ends up recruiting well and being in the top 25. You cannot be earning half as much money as Vanderbilt just because of the conference you're in. That's not fair. That's not sustainable. You've got to get out. Or your conference has got to do something. Joshua says, will you think that Clemson Tigers win 12 or more games than Alabama? I'm not really sure that question. 12 or more games than Alabama? I haven't really looked at Alabama's schedule. Athlon has them winning every game. Utah State, I think they should win that one. At Texas, I don't think that Texas is there yet, but we'll see what Quinn Ewers can do. Louisiana Monroe win. Vanderbilt win. Arkansas, the West is getting harder for them, but Texas A&M beat them, but can they do it again? Their schedule: Vanderbilt at Arkansas, Texas A&M at Tennessee, Mississippi State at LSU, at Ole Miss. At Ole Miss could be a tough one later on in the season, and then Austin P, and then Auburn at home. Athlon says that they could win every game. Last year, they won every game, but Texas A&M at home. In the regular season. To be honest with you, I think if Jamison Williams was healthy, they would be national champions. Any thoughts on the rumor of the Tigers going to the SEC? I think they should go to the SEC. Nobody out there has given me a good reason why not. Has anybody come up to you and said, this is why Clemson should not go to the SEC? You won't hear it from me. You won't hear it from me. And I'm not saying that the ACC is not valuable. Louisville is showing that they care about NIL and that they have some money to back them. Miami is showing that they have momentum and they're taking things serious in college football now. They have a coach that has momentum, that has history in Miami, and they have NIL backing. Louisville and Miami have become a bigger threat in the ACC. Florida State, I don't know what they're doing. I really don't. but they've got too much history to sit around and not become powerful again. They're in the capital of Florida, so eventually it'll come back around. They cannot be mediocre or below that for the rest of their existence. The Tar Heels have a national a global brand, thanks to Michael Jordan and their basketball team. Pittsburgh had history. Is trying to get back there. But I mean, and with a loose partnership with the Pac-12, there is opportunity there. I mean, you do have Oregon, Washington State, Arizona State, Utah, Colorado. You got some teams that do want to perform at a high level in college football. I hope for the team's sake that DJ can fix his issues from last season. That's the best case scenario. Yes, Clemson Carson, yes. That is the best case scenario. All this Cade clubbed it, the quarterback, game 2, game 3. Just know that's not the best case scenario. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I think by October, you got to know. You've got to know by October. Game 5, NC State comes to Clemson. You've got to know. That's a revenge game. You cannot have your quarterback missing and not firing on all cylinders. Injuries got to be better this year. Got to protect your star players. Bill says in that aquarium video, I think the tigerfish just ate the roosterfish in one gulp. I think so. Tyree says, "What's going on? What's going on, bro?" Josh says, "Who is the better QB?" I mean, I don't think DJ is as bad as he was last year. If anything, he gets a blank slate here. He gets one more shot at it. I mean, you got to think about DJ for a second. He moved all the way from California here to be the starting quarterback. Left his family, had some family problems at home, probably wanted to go back home, but stayed. Dealt with injuries and uncertainty all around him. Again, thousands of miles away from home, chose to be a Clemson Tiger. In today's day and age, he could have gone anywhere. Even in yesterday's day and age, he didn't have to go to a school across the country. Chose to do so. Could very well finish his career, even if he's not the starting quarterback, could be a graduate of Clemson University. So, I mean, the best case scenario is he does better this year. Cade can learn. Hunter Johnson can help him. Everybody around him should be able to should be trying to help him. The competition, Cade really just needs to be competition. That's how he can help. Josh gets in, says, wonder why the main 24/7 sports page doesn't show Clemson's 5-star commit. Petty, but curious. Their main page? Huh. I mean, I know the Clemson's page has it. I mean, I see Peter Woods on the front page. So I see it. Big money to go to the SEC. Yeah, it is. Tig says, how would it affect the South Carolina Clemson game? I think if you go to the SEC, it doesn't affect it at all. They still play that same game. James Lil Locke says, hey, what's up? James, what's up, man? You know, James, we really need to do our picks against the spread again. I know you love those things. It's been a while since I've seen you in the chat, brother. Please, a better offense would help out a lot. Very true. I'm looking at the rankings here. I'm gonna need like some more light in here if I'm gonna do this. 82nd overall in scoring offense, 58th overall in rushing offense, 103rd overall in passing offense, in total offense 100. 103rd in passing offense. How many teams are there? Like 126, 123? You're down there with garbage teams at that point. Brady says DJ will have a great year. Get them likes up, chat. Hey, you know, that means something to me. I really appreciate it, James. I've gone back through and I have cut up some videos. I've got some top 5 videos. I've got some other things coming. I've gone back through and I'm going to try to keep up with, you know, doing my edits and stuff like that. It takes some time. Once we do the video, I have to go in and edit everything out and, you know, try to make clips for people who don't want to watch the full show. I just been, you know, on vacation and things like that, but I look forward to doing it. Plus on Thursday mornings, I do Mickey Plyler's show. And I assume they're going to let me do my nighttime show when football season comes around. So that means I'll be doing a Thursday morning show and then turn around doing a Thursday night show. Woo! I don't know. We'll see. Tig says Dabo will make the right choice. I'm positive on that. Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, I think so. I mean, Cade could come in and take the job, but I'm rooting for DJ because best case scenario is for Cade to be able to sit back and learn for a year and also add some more muscle. Tigers gotta eat. I'm 100% sure our offense will be much better than last year. Are you 100% sure? 24/7 is still stinging from their 100% to Bama call on Peter Woods, so they're not paying much attention to the real facts. Where did DJ live at? Well, he's from Bosco, uh, which is California, suburb outside of Los Angeles, I believe. Receivers will be ready this year too. They needed to block better. Wow, yes, they needed to block better. That's for sure. I think they're going to get better. I mean, there's only up from here, 103rd overall in passing offense. Let's look at your top individual stats. Your top receiver was Justin Ross, 46 receptions, 514 yards, 11.2 yards per average, and 3 touchdowns. Justin Ross really wasn't on the field, and he's your top receiver. Justin Ross was your top receiver, and you really didn't see him at that much. I'm not sticking up for DJ, but I'll cut him some slack with the injury and family issues from last year on top of the injuries along the whole team. I think that's a good way of thinking about it, to be honest. Not give up so easily. Krusty Buster gets in. Krusty Buster, welcome back. You're going to die taking up for that train wreck. For life, Morgan will say DJ is fine. Quit lying to me and yourself. Am I lying to myself? Am I lying to you? The fact of the matter is, the best case scenario is to have your junior quarterback that was a former 5-star that moved all the way from California, to have him start and turn his season around from last season and actually be the player that we thought he was going to be. That's the best case scenario. The best case scenario is not Hunter Johnson. It's not Billy Wiles. It's not Will Taylor. And Cade Klubnik. It's not really the best case scenario. It's not really. But Krusty Buster, you know, of all people, last season, I made the call. I said Cade Klubnik, quarterback by Halloween 2022. We did our recruiting video on him. I watched film of him. I said Cade Klubnik, starting quarterback, Halloween 2022. However, they got better from the Florida State game on. They got better on offense. Now they took the ball out of DJ's hand and handed the ball off more, which is a good thing. DJ is getting skinnier. He's going to camps and trying to perfect his craft. The best case scenario is DJ improving on last year, whether you want to believe it or not. DJ has to weather a lot of personal crap, then injuries, then the pressure while struggling. Yeah, I think so. I mean, you got to look at the picture as a whole. It is so easy to say, he's trash, get him out of here. I've said it. I cannot not say that. I would be, going back to the lying part, I would be lying by saying I haven't said in the past, Cade Klubnik, quarterback starting October, Halloween 2022. I walked out of the Boston College game, which they almost lost, and I said, they just need to push off. The wide receivers just need to push off and let the referees call it if they will. That's what I said. But Now, I'll say, I've said this before in the past too. Trevor Lawrence would have gone undefeated last season even with all the injuries. I completely believe that. Trevor Lawrence would have won every single game last year. So we can say, well, it's everything around DJ. I feel like Trevor Lawrence would have won every single game. Now, to Krusty Buster's point, I didn't really like what I saw in the spring game. Of course, to be honest with you, though, going back to that, I mean, he's throwing to guys like me, 5'9", 190, 5'9", 185. That's not guys that you need to be throwing to. Dabo Swinney splits up the teams somewhat evenly. And, I mean, the only decent receiver out there was Jake Briningstool, and Cade had him. Trevor coaching him, and Travis Etienne is his safety valve. Don't forget that. Clemson Carson says, my hunger for Clemson football is just growing the closer we get to football season. Hey, Siri, how many days until Clemson's first football game?
Clemson takes on Georgia Tech in 58 days.
Woo! 58 days. Georgia Tech, September 5th, 8 p.m., 58 days. Clemson Carson, do you hear that? 58 days. Wow. 58 days? Joshua, you must not be a Clemson fan. What ranking is Clemson? Well, in most places, you got them 4th. And to be honest with you, it's hard to put them lower than 4th. Because, I mean, just what they have. The defense will be one of the best in the nation, if not the best in the nation in 2022. The running back, the running attack, and the running backs will be some of the best in the nation in 2022. Are you as excited as me about this ACC Pac-12? Wait. You already posted that. I guess I went backwards. Sorry. I've gone backwards. I gotta go back through the chat. I went backwards. I'm scrolling through the chat here. I went backwards. I remembered the thumbs up on the way in this time. Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, I don't know how it works. I literally had 2 streams this afternoon after I cut the grass. I said, you know what? I'm going to play my Formula One game because you guys know I'm a big Formula One fan. It's a big race this weekend. I just bought like a really nice simulator steering wheel that I wanted to try out. I hook it up. I get it all set up. I'm like, okay, I'm going to stream it with my friends on YouTube. Now, I know you guys are Clemson fans, college football fans. I know you're not Formula One fans, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to stream and just have fun with you guys. Literally, no one showed up. I thought, well, maybe I named it wrong. Maybe I loaded something wrong because I did use a different system. I loaded up again a second time. Literally, no one shows up. I'm talking to like the air for at least 30 minutes, talking to nobody. I get comments after the fact, but I get no views. And that's not common for my channel. Usually I get some sort of views, you know? So I tell Tiggs. Tiggs actually finds the video. I don't know how he found it. Nobody else did. Tiggs finds the video And I say, Tiggs, you know what we need to do? We need to just do a Clemson video because that's what the channel is all about. Let's just do a Clemson video. I start up a Clemson video. We're at 30. We're over 30 people right now watching. And literally, by the time I started it, over 10 people were already in waiting. I have no idea how this stuff works. They tell me to hit the thumbs up button. YouTube tells me to tell you to hit the thumbs up button. So if you could help me with that, just hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I really don't care if you do or not, but if you do, then at least you can be a part of the show. That makes it more fun for me because if I'm here by myself, then it's like, well, I might as well just go do something else. I swear I'm getting the same chat like over and over. Give me a second as I kind of scroll through. All right, I'm just going to go from the bottom. Brian Myers says, nice aquarium. He says, I have you in my alerts too. Oh yeah, by the way, Brian, good pickup there. You can hit the notification bell and that'll help. And he says, and go Bucks. Wait a minute, Brian. Do you mean to tell me that you're an Ohio State fan? Are you talking that you're an Ohio State fan on this channel? Brian, if you're an Ohio State fan, you need to tell me what you think about how they're going to do this year. Josh gets in, says like, subscribe, and comment to the page. Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. On Facebook, yeah, so I mentioned subscribe and stuff like that. So on Facebook, I think you just go in, you hit the like button, and then you hit the follow button on the page. I don't post as much. Now, if you want to follow me like daily, like I literally am on this all the time, that would be Twitter. So if you want to talk to me like literally every day, throughout the day, Twitter, at the Morgan T Show. And I also do my recruiting board up there. The die-hardest Buckeye fan. We have a Buckeye fan on the channel? Wow, that's crazy. Jay Holmes says the thumbs up tells the algorithm to show it to more people. There you go. Never got any notifications on either video. It's crazy. Like you get notifications on this video, but not the other one. Doesn't make any sense. A lot of fans may not agree, but Clemson would be better off in the SEC recruiting. Plus, it would bring in some more money. Yes. Bring in more money. Yes. Better off recruiting. Yes. They're already top 10. They're already top 10. Come on. They're already top 10. I mean, really. But I think they would be better. You got a favorite F1 driver, Morgan? Yes, my favorite F1 driver is Charles Leclerc. Or Charles Leclerc. He drives for Ferrari. I think he's got the best racecraft out there. I think he can fight with anybody. If you give him a car good enough, he can beat Max Verstappen. And unfortunately, he's had like 7 chances to beat Max Verstappen. This year, he's been on pole more than anybody and yet has less points than Mercedes on those same races where he's out on pole. Oh, by the way, if you really like Formula One, I do my Formula One piece on Mickey Plowler's show every Thursday at like 6:20 a.m. Now, I know everybody's not awake at that time, but just saying. Popped in for a minute, but was looking for football talk. Well, see, that's the thing, Huffer. So I can't really, what I did notice is when I'm doing my Formula One stuff, I can't, when I'm playing a video game, unless I'm playing maybe something else. Maybe I should do Madden. I do have Madden, by the way. I do have Madden. Maybe I should play Madden while we talk. But what I noticed is it's kind of hard to read the chat and reply back to you while I'm driving 200 miles an hour. cool to see I'm not the only Clemson Formula One fan. There are a lot of people out there, to be honest with you. The roar was like, "Are you sure? Formula One? Like, there are a lot of fans out there." I say, "You just let me do some Formula One talk and see." And literally, the morning, I mean, it was like 6:20 in the morning, and we had like 10 to 15 texts. People texting in, "Wow, I've never heard Formula One talk in Clemson. This is amazing. I love it." I'm like, "There you go. There you go. There's a need. There's an audience. You just don't have anybody to talk about it." What do you want to talk about instead? College baseball. I have no interest in college baseball. I'm sorry, even Clemson baseball. I have no interest. I mean, I do like Eric Bakich. I think he was a great hire. I'm kind of checked out with Clemson baseball right now. College baseball in general, just baseball in general. I haven't watched it. I used to watch every single Braves game. I don't watch any. Boone says, "Who's the best receiver on the team?" Well, let me put a name in the hat and Joe Ngata. I drew the name, Joe Ngata. That's what I'm gonna say. What I can't take up for DJ no more, I'll talk Formula One. Yeah, yeah. Krusty, you're crazy, man. I don't always take up for DJ. And people who watch the show know that. Trevor Lawrence was wise beyond his years. He came out of the womb ready. That's true. Trevor, you mentioned Trevor Lawrence's backup. Either you're talking about Kelly Bryant or Tyson Pumachan, which I don't think Tyson would have won every game. I do think Trevor Lawrence would have won every game. And to be honest with you, I think Kelly Bryant probably would have won every game last year. So how do Clemson fans feel about going to the SEC? Well, to be honest with you, I think it's the best fit compared to the Big Ten. If you're going to have two super conferences, I think it's the best fit compared to the two. The Big Ten would be great. I would love to see Clemson versus Michigan. I would love to see Clemson versus Penn State, Wisconsin, Ohio State. I would love to see those games. I would not love to see Iowa. I would not love to see Rutgers, Northwestern, Indiana. I don't care anything about those games. Minnesota, I really don't care anything about those games. Nebraska, maybe, but no. The thing is, when you enter into the SEC, because we're already in the South, you already know those games are going to be huge. I mean, literally huge. You already know that. Florida, Clemson, Tennessee, Clemson, Georgia, Clemson, Arkansas, Clemson. Those games are going to bring in and pack the house every single time. LSU, Clemson, Vanderbilt, Clemson, maybe just because of proximity. I think Kentucky, Clemson, these games are going to pack the house. There are more teams, Auburn, Alabama, Texas A&M, Texas. I mean, these games are what Southern football fans are dying to see in Clemson. James says, "Pray for DJ and Clemson. They need our prayers. God will do his part." Tig said, not even this video did you get a note? I don't know, man. You're subscribed, or you have the notifications on? That's all I know. Diehard Leclerc fan yourself. Yes, that's what you need to be. Now, to be honest with you, Clemson, I like literally every racer in Formula One. Every pilot in Formula One. There's something unique about every single one, and the Netflix series really shown that through. But Formula One does a great job with their broadcast. You know, they have practices, they have qualifying, they have, immediately after, it's kind of like the USFL or the XFL. Immediately after something happens, they've got somebody with a microphone in one of the racers or pilot's face. During the race, they've got the crew chief, or what they call the team principal, with a microphone on, and they're talking to him. They're listening to the radio calls throughout the race. I mean, the presentation of Formula One is amazing. I have yet to hear anyone mention Brian Bresee since he got injured. I think he's under the radar, to be honest with you. I think he's under the radar. I really do. Brian says he thinks Ohio State's going to run the table. Well, let's look at Ohio State's schedule. They very well could. First up on the slate, September 3rd, Notre Dame. That'll be a big one. Arkansas State, Toledo, Wisconsin, Rutgers at Michigan State, Iowa at Penn State, at Northwestern, Indiana at Maryland, and Michigan. Now, Athlon projects you to lose one game. I mean, who could that be? Notre Dame? You think you're going to lose to Notre Dame? Is that what they think? Final analysis on Ohio State here. While celebrating the 100-year anniversary of Ohio Stadium, Ohio State will embark on an 8-game home schedule that begins with a visit from Notre Dame and ends with the heated Wolverines coming to town. Mowing through the Irish and daunting Big Ten will require a new defensive identity and more consistent play up front. The Buckeyes have legitimate All-American candidates at the skill positions, but were manhandled in the trenches in both losses last year. The speed, talent, and depth are in place, and if the new assistants unearth some needed physicality, this team will be formidable. I mean, you cannot deny what Ohio State has in wide receivers. Julian Fleming, 5-star junior that Clemson was going after hard. Jackson Smith and Jigba, who could be one of the best wide receivers in the nation. Marvin Harrison Jr., as you know, Marvin Harrison, his dad. Quarterback C.J. Stroud, who, is great. Trayvon Henderson and Mayan Williams in the backfield. A lot to love there for the running backs and the wide receivers. No more Garrett Wilson, no more Chris Olave, and no more Haskell Garrett, but Stroud, Henderson, and Smith and Jigba. Now, here's my thing, Brian, about Ohio State. Why did they play two-hand touch in the spring game? They did it like every other series. They would actually tackle each other one series, and then the other series they would play two-hand touch. Explain that to me. My dad asked me about it, and I was like, I have no idea. I don't know what they're doing. It makes no sense. Andrew Makuba is arguably one of the best defensive backs in the country. Changed my mind. First team All ACC, according to Athlon Sports. On defense, I don't know how to say his name. Kalija Cansey from Pittsburgh. Miles Murphy, Clemson. Brian Bresee, Clemson. Tyler Davis, Clemson. Trenton Simpson, Clemson. Michael Jones, Syracuse. Peyton Wilson, North Carolina State. Drake Thomas, North Carolina State. Kytrell Clark, Louisville. Josh DeBerry, Boston College. Jamie Robinson, Florida State. And Andrew Makuba, Clemson. Only 2 sophomores on that list, Brian Bresee and Andrew Makuba. Brian Bresee, a sophomore? Is that right? Is that right? Brian Bresee is a junior. They didn't get that right. The only sophomore on that list is Andrew Makuba. Yeah, Bresee. Thank you, Blake. Bresee is a junior. Athlon Sports. Come on. Come on, Athlon. What are you doing here? Brian answered my question. Not sure. Probably trying to limit contact and minimize the possibility of injury. Clemson Carson, they must have counted last year as a redshirt year. Well, if I go to ClemsonTigers.com, because I have him on my sheet, my roster list as a junior. If I go to football and then roster and then list view, he's number 11. What do you know? What do you know? All right, Blake, we were both wrong on this one. He is a redshirt sophomore. They redshirted him. They redshirted Brian Bresee. Either way, this will be his last year. What it said. Bresee and Woods, what a combo. I got to update my Twitter page now because he's a redshirt sophomore. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to go back. I'm going to have to scrub back through everything now. Probably because of his injury. Yeah. First team offense. Sam Hartman, Wake Forest. Sean Tucker, Syracuse. Will Shipley, Clemson. A.T. Perry, Wake Forest. Josh Downs, North Carolina. Jordan Addison. Well, this was printed before he left, so scratch Jordan Addison off. Maybe move up Zay Flowers. Marshawn Floyd, Louisville. Grant Gibson, NC State. Jordan McFadden, Clemson. Caleb Chandler, Louisville. Christian Mahogany, Boston College. By the way, Christian Mahogany tore his ACL. Boston College offensive tackle. Zion Nelson, Miami. So for Clemson on that one, you've got Will Shipley and Jordan McFadden. First team All ACC offense for Athlon Sports. Let's not forget, we got guys like Rook, Trey Williams, and Peyton Page sitting behind guys like Bresee and Davis. DeMonte Capehart as well. You look at the final analysis for Clemson. This defense is good enough to win a national title. Everything comes down to the offense. The running game should be dependable, as the Tigers have a three-headed monster at running back and an experienced offensive line. But DJ Uyanalele is going to have to make some plays in the passing game for Clemson to have the year it wants to have. If he struggles early, it's certainly possible that Cade Klubnik gets a look. Certainly possible. I subscribe to your page, Morgan. Love y'all. Thank you, Joshua. I really appreciate it, man. I really do. You know, we started this, so it's crazy. I think December 2018, I started this channel. I talked to Alan and I said, Al, there's all these websites out there. Everybody's got a website. I don't want to do a website. I don't know how to do a website. I could figure it out, but I don't want to do a website. I want to do something different. I want to get on camera. I want to one day get on the radio. And Alan said, well, go for it, man. I said, well, I want you to do it with me. Alan said, go for it on your own. So the first couple of months I did it on my own, talking to myself with like 2 people, maybe not even 2 people sometimes. And then I just kind of worked it up, 10 people, 15 people. All of a sudden, like 70 people watched one day. And then I met Mark Childress, and then it just kept snowballing. And then I got on the radio, and then I got on the radio again. The first time I ever got on the radio was 5 minutes, and I was shaking. My hands were like, I didn't know what to say. I had written all these things. See, now when guests come on my show, I give them a list of things that I want to talk about. At the time, I was so new. I mean, I was writing out even my thoughts, word for word. Now it's just off the top of my head. But I remember Walt reaching out to me, Walt Deptula, and he said, hey, come on the show, 6 o'clock. I said, what do you want to talk about? He said, we'll talk about college football. That's a broad subject, Walt. Well, I did it, and he gave me 5 minutes, and he hung up. And you know what? Since then, I've been on his show for 3 hours. I've done a 4-hour show. I've done 1 hour. I've all kinds of things, man. It just grew from there. Hey, Huffer Billy Paul, $4.99 a donation there. Thank you for that. Wow, I appreciate that. So he says, while I would hate it for DJ, Cade is more than capable to be our natty QB. While I would hate it for DJ, Cade is more than capable to be our natty QB. Cade is more than capable. If you have a doubt that Clemson has a national presence, think about this. Clemson landed a 5-star quarterback, the best quarterback in the state of Texas, from the city of Austin, Texas. Clemson University pulled Cade Klubnik from Austin, Texas. 5-star quarterback. Huffer Billy also says, if we need him to be. If we need him to be. If Clemson needs him to be that guy. Now, Dabo has mentioned, and he mentioned in the spring game, he's not fully confident that he can take the hits from guys like Miles Murphy. Yet. I mean, there's growing pains with anybody. If you don't have a freshman slump, you're going to have a sophomore slump. Something's going to happen. Now, Deshaun Watson didn't have any slumps. Deshaun was amazing. Trevor Lawrence was amazing. Can Cade be that guy? Huffer Billy also says they got Christopher Vizina coming in. Christopher Vizina right behind Cade. Yes. And Vizina's really good too. I'm going to go see him this year. I want to go out and see him. He messaged me, and my uncle lives in Vestavia Hills, and he plays like 5 minutes away from there. So I'm going to go visit my family and hopefully try to go see a game. Tig says Cade's not at that level yet. Don't rush the kid. I think that's true too. I think that's true. Don't rush the kid. You know, it's so important. I mean, we cannot say the best case scenario is DJ leaving after so much sacrifice he had to come here to Clemson. DJ leaving with his head bent down in disappointment. I don't wish that on anybody. Remember, DJ chose to wear the uniform that is of our favorite team, of our school. DJ chose that. He could have picked any other school. We have to still support him in some way. He's trash. Get out of here. That's not support. I can't do that. I wouldn't do that. I don't want to. I would not do that to anybody at any age level. I mean, I would hope that you would get better, and if not, hey, move on. Blake says, Morgan, you going to ACC Media Day? I'll be there. I don't think so. I mean, I need to talk to the radio and see. I wouldn't mind. Honestly, I wouldn't mind. You know. But, you know, the radio, everybody has a certain amount. You know, I don't know. This is not reminding me of 2018 when I knew we needed Trevor starting over Kelly Bryant to win the national championship game. Kelly Bryant was a good quarterback. He could get you to the playoffs. The thing about Kelly Bryant is he was confident. DJ didn't have that last year. Kelly Bryant was a gamer. He was confident in his own abilities, and the players around him respected him. My goodness, he transferred to Missouri, and like 15 Clemson players still on the team at the time went to see his spring game. Players liked Kelly Bryant. Kelly Bryant came to this year's spring game, and people said, what's he doing here? What do you mean, what's he doing here? He lost his spot. He was bitter about it. But hey, guess what? That's called being confident and thinking you're the best. You want your quarterback to be confident. It just goes back to Formula One. You want somebody in a race car going 200 miles an hour that's not confident, that's scared, that doubts themselves? No, you don't want that. Cade gets enough weight on, he'll be a baller. I agree. I mean, really, if you think about it, though, if you think about it, Bryce Young is like 190, right? I mean, Bryce Young was at 200, right? Uh-oh, Al Coon gets in. $4.99 from Albert Coon. Character saying, you rock. Oh, showing a pump bicep. You rock. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I wonder why. Wonder why the little character doesn't show up. Huh? Do you like my aquarium? You know how hard it is to get this aquarium up? To keep up an aquarium like this? You know how hard it is? I don't think you in the chat really understand how difficult it is to keep an aquarium up like this. The hours put in. You think it just happens on its own? No. It doesn't just happen on its own. Huffer Billy says, is it a real aquarium? I guess. I don't know. It's real somewhere. I can't imagine it'd be fake. It looks real to me. Brian says, I've had a freshwater aquarium for many years. Saltwater seems much harder. I think I have a friend, a coworker that has a saltwater aquarium, and he runs everything from his smartphone. It's crazy. Alcoon says, I want to show support. You do a great job. No, I don't like the fish. Is it my aquarium? No, it's not my aquarium. This is YouTube, y'all. Come on, look. I tricked you. Come on. I don't got time for an aquarium. I have a 7-year-old. What can I do with an aquarium? Not my aquarium. I just thought it'd be something cool to do. So are you guys, I say on the calendar, the two, you got who, when you look at the schedule for Clemson this year, is there anybody you're circling? Is there anybody you're scared about the most? When you look at the Clemson schedule this year, is there any team on there that you're concerned about the most? Brian, I'll throw it to you since you're the in-house Ohio State fan. Is there anybody you're concerned with the most on your schedule? If you're listening or watching and you're not a Clemson fan or an Ohio State fan, what's your team and who are you worried about the most? Hufferbilly says Notre Dame, Miami, NC State. Brian says Notre Dame in November could be challenging. South Bend isn't far from Lake again. Could be some lake effect snows. Wow. Yeah. I'm always concerned about the chickens, Hart Vaughn says. Rivalries are always a coin toss. You cannot take any game for granted, that's for sure, even one that you've won, so many in a row. You're at Georgia Tech, but you're not really at Georgia Tech. Are they better this year? No. You're going to beat Georgia Tech. Furman, you're going to beat Furman. Louisiana Tech, you're going to beat Louisiana Tech. At Wake Forest, are they better this year? No. You're going to beat Wake Forest. NC State, are they better this year? On defense, if they're healthy, they're better than last year. On offense, they're not better. They've lost their star outside wide receiver. They've lost their left tackle. They've lost both of their running backs. NC State is not better on offense. As much as Walt Deptula likes to remind me that Devin Leary is the best quarterback in the ACC, NC State is not better on offense. Do they still have Thayer Thomas? Yes. Any team with a Thomas on their team is lethal and should be handled with caution. However, is NC State better than last year? And will Clemson go 7 3-and-outs in a row at home? No. They had to beat them at their own house in double overtime with 7 3-and-outs from Clemson. I don't think NC State's better. I don't think NC State can beat Clemson at home. Win. Boston College. Is Boston College better than last year? Yes. If Phil Jurkovich is on the team, they're going to be better than last year. Clemson almost lost that game. Are you not worried about Boston College? Clemson almost lost to Boston College last year. Are you not worried about them? What's Athlon's final analysis on Boston College? We'll know a lot about what kind of team BC has after the first 4 weeks. The Eagles' 2022 opener against Rutgers is no gimme, and then they travel to Virginia Tech and Florida State for 2 of their next 3 games. If BC can dodge the injury bug this season and Jurkovich plays to his maximum potential, Hafley's bunch could finally reach the 8-win barrier. Winning the division, however, will be a stiff test. But even just stealing a game or 2 against AP-ranked teams, a caliber opponent BC hasn't defeated since 2014, would be considered the kind of step in the right direction for the Eagles fans that the Eagles fans desperately crave. Going to their schedule, the problem with Boston College is they play Rutgers, Virginia Tech, at Florida State, and then Louisville before they get Clemson. They're not going to have an easy route to get to Clemson. Clemson's going to have an easier route, to be honest, before they get to Boston College. Clemson beat Florida State. They're going to be playing at Florida State. Clemson beat Florida State 30-20. And I remember that game. I think Florida State kept hanging around with big plays. I was at that game. I just can't remember everything about it, but I got to show this one. Supertacular Angel chick Jenny K. What do you think it would be like if an angel came from heaven to earth for the first time? Would they appear awkward or what? Well, Supertacular Angel chick Jenny K. If you're a believer in the Bible, angels have already come to earth. So, and they didn't seem very awkward. It seemed more like everybody else was scared of them. If you believe such things. Angels would blend in? Maybe. Clemson will play Miami in the ACC championship game. I don't know. Syracuse, I think, is an easy one. At Notre Dame, that one is definitely kind of going along with Brian there, the Ohio State fan, Brian. He's worried about Notre Dame in November or, at the beginning of the season. Clemson should be worried about November 5th at Notre Dame. And then you guys got to be honest with Louisville here. They were very frustrated. They are very, very angry right now with losing again to Clemson last year in a game they felt like they definitely could have won if Malik Cunningham was still healthy, stayed healthy throughout that game. It was extremely difficult for Clemson's defense to keep up with Cunningham. Now, by that time, Clemson was a little bit more beat up. That was in early November. This will be 1 week later this year. My only worry is Clemson. We have more talent than anybody we play. Yeah, I could see. I mean, I don't disagree with that. Hey, everybody, we have about 30-something people in, about 10 people over on Facebook, about 30-something people over on YouTube. If you don't mind, hit the like button. Just real quick. Don't think about it. Just hit it. Apparently, it helps. I mean, Florida State is got a bunch of returning starters on the offensive line. I mean, Jordan Travis is going to be the quarterback again. I don't know. I don't know about Florida State. Didn't anyone see Clarence in It's a Wonderful Life? Wasn't he the guardian angel? I'm interested to see Barrett Carter, Levanta Bentley, and Trenton Simpson, the linebacking core for Clemson. I got to find Notre Dame in this book. I had previously purchased Phil Steele's book, but no disrespect to him, I was unimpressed. I don't know how you guys feel about the magazines, but there wasn't a lot. To me, there was just a lot of stuff, a lot of numbers and just stuff just crammed in everything. The font was really small, and maybe I also kind of had a bad taste in my mouth because then it ended up being COVID and none of it mattered and most of it was wrong. But where is Notre Dame? Notre Dame's usually at the back. I think. Troy. That's the Sun Belt. Where is Notre Dame? Notre Dame's got to be in there with like the other independents, right? You would think. All right, there's the Pac-12. Colorado. That's the Midwest. There's the MAC. BYU, Notre Dame. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Phil Steele, a lot of stats and metrics and not much else. See, I don't like that. I just rather hear your opinion on stuff. I don't need to know all this. And then he's a little bit salesman-y with his stuff, like first 5 pages is all about how awesome he is and how perfect he is at picking everything. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, you're great. I get it. All right. So the Fighting Irish, key Fighting Irish returning players: Michael Mayer, tight end, a chiseled block of granite with great hands and gritty, physical, mature, looks and plays the part of a number 1 tight end off the draft board. I got to turn this light on, man. I can't read. I can't see. All right. Isaiah Foskey, defensive end, one of the nation's more highly touted pass rushers and returning after considering a jump to the NFL. Jason Ademilola, virtually unknown on the national level, the twin brother of a productive Irish defensive end. Justin has a nonstop motor and sideline-to-sideline range. They lost Kyle Hamilton, as you know, from the NFL draft. Kyron Williams, their running back that beat up Clemson bad last time they played. And Jack Cohn, their quarterback that was a transfer. They picked up Jalen Sneed, 5-star linebacker from Hilton Head, which everybody said, why didn't Clemson go after him? Well, they already knew he wasn't interested. Why didn't Clemson go after him? They weren't interested. Final analysis: the Irish remain true to their strengths along both lines, which spearheaded 2 playoff appearances in the last 3 seasons. The season hinges on 1, the consistency of the unproven quarterback; 2, the development of a big wideout; and 3, evolution of Notre Dame's secondary. The shift from Kelly's to Freeman is the great intangible in a season that's more transition in leadership than significant drop in talent. I don't see much drop off with him being the head coach. I don't know. I feel like they've lost a lot of talent. A lot of their key players are gone. And again, they have to start off at Ohio State. I mean, the games that they circle on their calendar: Ohio State, Clemson. I don't know of anybody else. I mean, I'm not as. Let's see what opposing coach says about Ohio State or Notre Dame. Opposing coach on Notre Dame: let's say there's no drop off and things are about as equal as in terms of game day execution. If that's the case, the difference between Brian Kelly and Marcus Freeman is going to be recruiting and development. A lot of us really think that they're going to recruit better under Marcus, which I believe we already seen that they are. If Marcus can recruit better and maintain the development with the standards there, then he is the better coach. This is the nation's best developmental program by definition, because they can get elite players and they get tough big guys and they get smart guys who are tougher and put them all together. They do really good. They do a really good job on offense. Tommy Rees is smart. He could be a head coach now if he wanted to be. QB is more of what they want in that system. They're better when they can run around that position. The offensive line is just consistently good, always a problem for creating pressure. The tight end, Mayer, is the best offensive player on the team. Styles kid started to really come out at the end too. Last year, Marcus ran a little of Clark Lee's stuff and a little of his own. Now they're all his guys. I think you're going to see more of a hybrid 3-4 and less of a 3-3 stack. There's a ton of pressure to win immediately and keep it going. I think the real measurement is if Marcus can land those 2 or 3 different playmakers Brian guys could never do. Southern Cal is going to be really good this year. Yeah, they finished with Southern Cal at the end of the year. I don't know. Hard to say, man. Honestly, Brian, I don't know. It's hard to say. Hard to say. I mean, you're going to see early. You're going to see early because if they go to Ohio State and Ohio State torches them, you know, Marcus Freeman's not a bad defensive-minded coach. So, Notre Dame could be playing 3 of the 4 college football playoff teams this year in Ohio State, Clemson, and Southern California. Wow, that's true. That's a tough schedule. Going back to Clemson, I mean, I think at the time they get Notre Dame, it sets up well because I feel like as long, I mean, everything changes if injuries are the concern. That November is going to be difficult for Clemson. November 5th at Notre Dame, November 12th, Louisville, November 19th, Miami, November 26th, South Carolina. Maybe not November 26th, but November 5th, November 12th, and November 19th are going to have offenses that are going to try to outperform your offense. I mean, that have to me when I just think of them at first, I think those 3 offenses can or have shown that they can light up the scoreboard, and if they light up the scoreboard, you got to worry how much better has Clemson's offense gotten to compete with that. But still, Athlon Sports has Clemson ACC 12-1 overall. I'm assuming that 12-1, that's got to be lost to Notre Dame. And they have Notre Dame, but they have Notre Dame going 9-3. This is what doesn't make any sense. They have Clemson going 12-1 and Notre Dame going 9-3. Well, then if Notre Dame goes 9-3, then Clemson's loss is not to Notre Dame. And if Clemson's loss is not to Notre Dame, then who is their loss to? Is their loss to NC State? If Clemson has to lose a game, who do they lose to? Troy says maybe 2 of the 4. Southern Cal ain't making the college football playoff. That one loss could be Wake or BC. See, here's the thing, Brian. It can't be Wake. They were terrible last year, and I was at the Wake Forest game, and Wake Forest looked like little kids versus Clemson. And they ended up hanging like 45 on them. 48. They ended up hanging 48 on them. Wake Forest loses their top wide receiver to the Dallas Cowboys. I don't see it. Wake Forest, Timothy says Wake Forest too small in the trenches. I don't see it. I agree. I don't see it. Boston College, Tig says Boston College could be it. Could be that one loss. Louisville could be really frustrated. I mean, I'm telling you, the Louisville fans are frustrated. They have never beat Clemson, and last year was their best chance. Didn't Notre Dame's QB leave? Yes, Notre Dame no longer has Jack Cohn. Jack Cohn is no longer there. They're going to be going with a sophomore, Tyler Buckner. Yeah, Brian, I'm with you. No, I'm not picking on you or anything. I'm just I think your Wake speculation is bad. I think your Boston speculation. I'll be honest with you guys. Boston College at Boston College. But again, for me, Louisville keeps sticking out to me. Who do they lose though? Tyler Harrell. He transferred, right? Harrell is now with Alabama. Their speedster guy. Hassan Hall also. They lost him, transferred out. Tyler Harrell was their leading receiver for touchdowns. Final analysis on Louisville. The Cards opened by playing their first 2 and 4 of their first 6 games on the road. They'll need a fast start because the schedule is backloaded with this closing stretch at Clemson, where they've never won, NC State and Kentucky, which has dominated Satterfield. There's enough veteran talent on the team for the Cards to get 6 wins, but Cunningham must remain healthy and excel for Louisville to achieve more than that. All right, so now I'm not as excited about Louisville. I'm not as it's still though. Todd gets in on Facebook and says, "Remember last year there was a lot of last-minute games. The Syracuse game was too close. The Boston College game was too close. The Louisville game was too close. The Georgia Tech game was too close. There's a ton of games, man. A ton of games for the Tigers that were way too close." Timothy says, if the BC QB stays healthy, maybe them, but Clemson's defense is going crazy, going to be hard to see them losing, to be honest. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I think Clemson's defense has more depth, and they lost a guy who could have been a first-round draft pick in Andrew Booth Jr. and they lost all of their linebackers, or at least their traditional sense linebackers. But I think their linebackers are going to get faster. Wes Goodwin has come out and said he's going to simplify some things to make it to where more players can play, meaning that they're going to have even more depth going into next year. Their freshmen that they've got coming in have already shown in the spring game that they can contribute to the secondary. Sherrod Koval looks like a Kayvon Wallace to me. Heavy hitter. Chase Stack says, I don't see Clemson losing, but maybe one game, and it might be against Notre Dame. Even then, I doubt it. Okay, of the 2022 recruits, Klubnik, Lucas, Williams, Pride, Randall, Sadler, Koval, Miller, Story, Dudley, Woodaz, Oliver, Griffin, McLeod, Sapp, Lawson, Turner, Adams Jr., Gunn III, and Smith. Of the 2022 recruits, who gets the most snaps in 2022? Last year, we saw Marcus Tate and Andrew Makuba get over 600 snaps, I think, between both of them. I mean, not between both of them, combined over 1,200 snaps. So 600 snaps. Anybody from the 2022 recruiting class going to get over 600 snaps this year? Basically become a starter? Klubnik, Lucas, Williams, Pride, Randall, Sadler, Koval, Miller, Story, Dudley, Woodaz, Oliver, Griffin, McLeod, Sapp, Lawson, Turner, Adams, Gunn, Smith. Any one of those guys going to have over 600 snaps next year? Woodaz? You think Woodaz going to have over 600 snaps? I don't know. He's pretty fast. Pride or Lucas? The way the staff talk about them, you kind of tell they are different. I agree, Timothy. I'm with you. I agree. One of the guys on the offensive line, like Colin Sadler. My biggest question is who's playing slot this year? Brandon Spector should. If everything goes as planned, Brandon Spector should. Maybe Antonio Williams, maybe Will Taylor, maybe Troy Stellato. I had high hopes for Troy Stellato. I just never not seen him. Jaden Lucas definitely could be one of those guys that gets a lot of reps. Antonio Williams could be one of those guys gets a lot of reps, even though he's coming in the spring or a summer. As mentioned before, Toriano Pride and Sherrod Koval getting a lot of praise. And a lot of people said Adam Randall, but he got injured. Let's look at the Gamecocks. If you will. Shane Beamer was 7-6 in his first year. Key returning players: Josh Vann, wide receiver, led the Gamecocks in catches with 43 and receiving yards with 679. Jaheim Bell, tight end, beginning typing his NFL resume up by completing a stellar year with 2 touchdowns in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. And Cam Smith, by the way, Cam Smith, the guy that got the interception, we all know that, against DJ. Man, they were so excited about that. Second in the SEC in passes defended. Smith broke up 11 throws and intercepted 3. Key losses: Kingsley Ngbare, Kevin Harris, and Jalen Foster. The Gamecocks finished strong with wins in 3 of their last 5 games under first-year head coach Shane Beamer last year, and the momentum continued into the offseason, landing one of the top transfers in the class. Former Oklahoma signal caller Spencer Rattler highlights the list of incoming additions, and if he can get back on track after an uneven 21, the Gamecocks will be in the mix for a top 25 finish. A large gap still exists between South Carolina and Georgia at the top of the SEC East, but if Rattler returns to form and the defense improves, another step forward is within reach. I watched their spring game. Their defense still looks pretty bad. Josh Vann, pretty good wide receiver. Spencer Rattler, who knows what you're going to get. Marshawn Lloyd and Christian Beal Smith. But you're losing Zaquandre White and Kevin Harris. Juju McDowell, Marshawn Lloyd, and DeCarrion Joyner. Luke Doty's still on the team, but will be a backup. Final analysis: Smiles and Fun are back in South Carolina with some of raised expectations. Rattler gives the program a spotlight it hasn't had since 2010, 2013, when it won 42 games under Steve Spurrier. Rattler gives the Gamecocks a spotlight since Steve Spurrier? But the trenches are suspect, and the schedule again is murderous. First 2 SEC games are against Arkansas and Georgia, but Beamer has an infectious enthusiasm for the job and answered any questions about if he'd be overwhelmed with trying to make an historically mediocre program good in his first year. In some ways, it's harder to follow a surprising season with a better one, but Beamer already shut up his critics once. I don't know. Georgia beat them last year 40-13. They didn't play Arkansas last year. They had wins over Auburn, Florida, Vanderbilt. 1-point win squeaker, Vanderbilt. I remember they started off 2-0, and they were very excited about that. Todd Teal says he's going to transfer over to YouTube so he can watch me on TV. Oh, man, you get a big, giant view of the aquarium. Do you think that Georgia will lose over South Carolina? No, I think Georgia will beat South Carolina. Out of high school, people were hyping Rattler up as an automatic first overall pick. Miyagi, that's a reach to give Rattler praise when he didn't do much in the last place he was at. Thumbs up if you haven't already. Chicken fans are setting themselves up for another disappointing year. We need to talk about something. In today's day and age, should we be allowing a team to have a mascot that is an illegal sport? Should we be allowing a team to have a mascot like a gamecock with spurs on their ankles, their talons? Illegal chicken fighting? Should we be allowing that in 2022? Josh gets in. He wants to change the subject completely. Do you think Eric will be better than Monty Lee in baseball? No, I think everybody wants to talk about football right now, but if you want to get in some baseball talk, I don't know much about baseball, to be honest. LOL, Morgan. I wouldn't reach that far. Let the Coots have something. Miyagi, they put a giant bronze chicken at their stadium with no spurs. It's not even a gamecock. It's just literally a chicken. Why not? The Tigers love to barbecue chicken. Athlon Sports projection 3-5 in the SEC, 6-6 overall. Their 2022 class I guess the best player in the 2022 class is Tanner Bailey from Gordo, Alabama, quarterback, 4-star. How about Lady Gamecocks? Isn't that impossible? Isn't that impossible? All right. Todd, I know he just switched over to YouTube, but Todd, I got some disappointing news to you. I've been running this show for 2 hours. I got 4 videos that are going to come up over the next couple of days, so be on the lookout for that before we do our Thursday show again next week. But church is tomorrow. I got to go to church. Got to wake up early for that. It's 11:30 at night. The dog is squeezing her toy, telling me she needs to go out. So it's time to go to bed, everybody. I appreciate everybody getting in on the show. I appreciate everybody's comments, concerns, emotional outbursts, and just having a good time. I appreciate you allowing me to display my aquarium up. But yeah, I need to go walk the dog and go to bed. So I will talk to everyone later. I will see you guys on Thursday, 7 p.m. Houston and Allen should be with us. And thanks again. Have a good night, everybody.